Russia and France's connection with Africa extends beyond commodities like cocoa and coffee. It encompasses themes of power, influence, and perhaps a degree of amicable rivalry. Notably, Russia, France, and their intricate involvement with West Africa are relationships intertwined with economic pursuits, military expeditions, and occasional diplomatic intricacies. Our narrative commences in the annals of history, featuring key figures like Napoleon, whose ambitions for Africa set the stage for subsequent events. Fast forward through colonial struggles, waves of independence movements, and a dash of Cold War complexities, and here we are where Russia seemingly took center stage. In this presentation, we will methodically dissect the purported ways through which Russia influenced events, leading to France's perceived departure from West Africa. From economic strategies and military tactics to diplomatic maneuvers and cultural engagements, we've meticulously covered it all. So without further ado, let's dive right in, starting with a review of the background. Once upon a time, not so long ago, France was a big player in West Africa. We're talking about a shared colonial past, strong economic ties, diplomatic relationships, and partnerships in making strategic moves. They had their eyes on the resources and the trade routes. Therefore, they established colonies, formed alliances, and, of course, left their mark on the region's history. However, the relationship between France and West Africa weakened due to multiple factors, such as perceived new colonialism. Therefore, Russia took advantage of this opportunity, waltzing into West Africa with a fresh set of moves such as through economic influence. Russia's been on a mission in West Africa, weaving a web of economic partnerships, trade agreements, and investment deals. Notably, Russia's inked trade agreements, and they're serious about boosting economic ties with West African countries. Furthermore, Russia's been playing the long game, making investments in infrastructure projects and natural resource extraction. For instance, Russia has been eyeing the energy sector, and they've struck deals with oil and gas-producing countries such as Nigeria through Rosneft. And if you think that's impressive, hold tight. Russia's got its hands in mining too. They're digging into West Africa's mineral wealth, securing deals to secure gold mines in Mali and Burkina Faso. Overall, Russia's economic moves in West Africa are creating a buzz that could be felt across the continent. The economic ties forged could potentially influence political decisions, and this, my friends, is where it gets interesting. Diplomatic engagement. Russia's diplomatic efforts in West Africa are not just about handshakes and fancy dinners but about forging partnerships and building bridges. Russia has been making moves in international forums, offering support to West African nations, and shaping perceptions on the global stage. From the United Nations to regional organizations, they've been front and center, offering a helping hand to West African nations. But Russia's not just playing the traditional diplomatic game, they've got a soft spot for soft power. For instance, cultural exchanges, educational scholarships, and even medical assistance. Notably, Russia's efforts in cultural and educational exchanges, such as offering scholarships, hosting cultural events, and providing medical assistance, are building a positive image in West Africa. Overall, while France, with its traditional diplomacy, has been waltzing through West Africa for years, Russia's approach is dynamic, different, and resonating with West African nations. Russia has taken this to heart by opening embassies, hosting diplomatic events, and actively participating in regional forums. Military and security cooperation. Russia's military involvement in West Africa has been turning heads, and one notable player in this game is the enigmatic Wagner Group. Now, let's spotlight key examples of Russia's military and security cooperation in West Africa. Take Mali, for instance. Russia's been cozying up to the Malian government, offering military assistance, training, and equipment. Besides, Russia's spreading its military wings, collaborating on counter-terrorism efforts, and positioning itself as a stabilizing force in Guinea, Niger, and Burkina Faso. And here's where it gets interesting. While Russia's military footprint grows, there's been a notable de-escalation of French military influence in Africa. Take Mali again, for instance. France has been scaling back its troops, and Russia seems to be filling in the gaps. Now, let's talk about peacekeeping efforts. Russia's actively contributing to security initiatives in the region by positioning itself as a reliable ally when it comes to addressing regional security concerns. Also, Russia's becoming a major supplier of arms to West African nations, fostering dependence and influencing defense policies in the region. Resource extraction. Russia's appetite for African riches, particularly in West Africa, has been growing, and it's turning heads. First things first, Russia's been collaborating on oil and gas exploration, playing a strategic game to enhance energy security for African nations. However, Russia's resource diplomacy is not just about taking, it's about mutually beneficial agreements. Take gold mining in Burkina Faso, for example. Russia's inked deals to mine and refine gold. In addition, Niger's uranium ore is also on Russia's radar. They've secured agreements for exploration and development, playing a key role in the global uranium supply chain. As a result, Russia's has not just become an extractor, they're a contributor to the growth of West African nations. Furthermore, these agreements address key needs such as building roads, improving energy infrastructure, or enhancing healthcare facilities. Russia's playing a role in shaping the future of West African nations. Social-cultural influence. Russia's been on a mission to foster ties with West African nations, not just through politics but through the hearts and minds of the people. For example, Russia's been facilitating programs, scholarships, and opportunities for West African students to experience the richness of Russian culture firsthand. And it's not just about education, it's about cultural dances, language programs, and sharing the vibrant tapestry of traditions. Russia's creating an environment where West African and Russian cultures can work together on the global stage. Cultural and educational ties with West African countries are game changers since they contribute to shifting perceptions and alliances, creating a new narrative on the global stage. Russia's not just about politics, they're playing the media game too. Information campaigns are shaping perceptions and building a positive image of Russia in West African countries. Besides, Russia's actively participating in regional and continental organizations, negotiating for Africa to have a say in the decision-making process, influencing narratives, and being part of the conversation. Russia, with its strategic investments and economic maneuvers, seems to be carving out its own slice of the West African pie. From billion-dollar deals to infrastructure projects, it's clear that Russia's appetite for influence is growing. For instance, through the Wagner Group's mysterious moves, collaborations on counter-terrorism efforts, and military partnerships with West African nations, Russia's playing a strategic game, positioning itself as a stabilizing force in the region. Besides, through educational exchanges, media magic, and active participation in regional organizations, Russia's shaping perceptions, fostering alliances, and weaving a cultural tapestry are leaving an imprint. Arguably, geopolitical dynamics are complex, and there are always different perspectives, so some might argue that France hasn't exactly been driven out. After all, it's a nuanced dance of influence, not a swift exit. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey, hit that like button, share it, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.